If you have PCOS, chances are you've been told to eat a certain way. Paleo, vegan, gluten-free, carnivore, sugar-free. I mean, it can be confusing, right? It's the reason why in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you which foods to fall in love with, which to ditch, how to structure your meal so that you have the ultimate PCOS diet. Oh, and you're going to want to stay until the end because I am going to be sharing with you something that you are doing that is totally not even food related that is impacting your PCOS nutrition efforts. And I'm going to be whipping up a PCOS-friendly recipe with this guy.
What's tasty with two thumbs? This guy. Yeah.
And hey, listen, I have an amazing, free PCOS 411 guide where I am going to be breaking down an ideal PCOS meal plan just for you, and some food guidelines that probably can help. So make sure to grab it by clicking the link in the comments. And lastly, but not least, I want to remind you to make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel and go click that little bell button. That way you get notified every time I put out a video every Wednesday. I'm Melissa, nutritionist with a background in Chinese medicine. I'm also known as the hormone and poop whisperer. Not long ago, me and my husband made the decision to leave the city life, drive across the country, and live in a 25-foot tiny home on wheels with our two dogs, Bodie and Pickles. But this life hasn't been without its challenges. I suspect that we have a leak. Here you'll get a raw and unfiltered look of my life along with how I and you can love our hormones throughout life's ups and downs here on Melissa Unplugged. Okay, it's time to go undercover. You ready?
Let's do this, man. I was born ready.
So first things first, when we're talking about the ultimate PCOS diet, this isn't so much of a diet, but rather a lifestyle. And the purpose of this lifestyle is to balance your blood sugar, make you more insulin responsive rather than resistant, and support your mitochondrial function. Your mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cells. When it's not functioning up to speed, your metabolic rate at which you burn calories decreases. In other words, no matter how little you eat, you still pack on the pounds. Let's start off with the morning. My suggestion would be to intermittently fast.
I actually did an entire video on how women should intermittently fast, so go check it out.
Intermittent fasting helps to boost the mitochondria, regulate blood glucose levels, and make us more insulin responsive. As a refresher, start with 10 to 12 hours if you're new to intermittent fasting from the last meal that you ate the night before. And during that time, drink lots of water, gut healing bone broths, and even a buttered matcha latte if you're struggling with major hunger pangs.
All right, so next up is lunch, which should be your first meal of the day. And for me, this is often the largest.
One of the biggest things I need you to start tracking is how much high quality protein are you actually getting? Because you need 90 grams of protein per day. When we eat more protein, we improve our detox efforts and support our muscle growth. When we lack muscle, we decrease our metabolic function, thereby burning less calories, and will struggle regulating our blood glucose levels, all of which can be disastrous when you have PCOS. I advocate for high-quality animal protein-based meals that are organic or grass-fed because they contain more bioavailable nutrients, which is needed with PCOS, who tend to have multiple food intolerances. Adding fat is extremely important because it helps to also regulate blood sugar. One of my favorite fats is avocado, which is rich in potassium.
Here is something you might not know. Did you know that women with PCOS tend to be low in potassium? And also people with hypothyroidism tend to be low in potassium. And Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid condition, is 3 times more common in women with PCOS.
You'll want to stay away from foods high in anti-nutrients like soy, grains, nuts, and legumes, which are high in lectins.
All right, guys, tip for you, make sure that you remove dairy. Dairy contains something called IGF-1. This actually raises insulin, and our ovaries tend to be very sensitive to insulin.
Ready to do the damn thing?
I'm always ready to do it.
We're talking about food. Oh, no, you get back in there. Hey, folks. Okay guys, we are back in our camper and we're about to make an Asian-inspired boneless short rib recipe in our Instant Pot. But I fucked up and I pulled out the beef stew instead of the boneless short ribs.
It's still gonna be really good. It's gonna be a beef stew, Asian inspired, with a touch of Brazilian and a little bit of chutzpah from a Jew. And that's how we do things.
All right guys, time to make the sauce. You'll want to begin with one roughly chopped onion and a roughly chopped apple. Side note, apples are an amazing example of a low glycemic index fruit. What this means is that they digest slower. That way it doesn't create the spike in glucose and insulin like other high sugar fruits. Next, you'll want to add those ingredients into a mini chopper or blender and add in 6 tablespoons of coconut aminos. You'll also want to add in 3 tablespoons of honey, 2 tablespoons of rice wine, also known as mirin, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. What do we say to people who tell us to just put in about a teaspoon of garlic?
You have no taste buds. It makes no sense.
1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and 5 black peppercorns. Blend it all up and then set this aside. Next, you're gonna brown your boneless short ribs, or in our case, beef stew, and then set them aside. Remember that these have to be dry and don't crowd them or they won't brown. Doing a good job, babe. Once you're done, you're gonna add in the meat back into the pot, pour the sauce over top, and pressure cook on high for about 42 minutes, and then allow the pressure to release naturally for an added 15. Saute. And it's going to reduce down a bit. I got some arrowroot flour, probably about 2 to 3, or actually 3 to 4 tablespoons of this.
What's the point of this?
It thickens it. It's a good alternative than cornstarch.
Oh,
Cornstarch
cool.
is like pro-inflammatory, so this is a lot better tolerated. It's a resistant starch, so you don't want to put too much more. Just make like a paste almost. What should you looking out at?
Just checking out, making sure everything's all right, right, Hicks? Is there anything you need to tell me? What do you think? Okay. Yeah.
So this is a really good example of what you can have for lunch, and then for us, we generally have the same thing for dinner, just kind of smaller amounts of it. Here's one way that you could be sabotaging your efforts, and that is you're eating too close to bedtime. One thing I always suggest is just stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. That way you can produce melatonin. Otherwise, melatonin won't be able to suppress insulin, which is your fat storage hormone. So, no food, guys. All right, you, if you want this recipe plus those food guidelines, make sure to grab my PCOS 411 guide now.
Wow. Amazing. It's like molten lava right now, but it's amazing.
I did good.
You did very good.
I did good.
Yeah, you did very good.
If they dug this video, what should they do?
Thumbs up
Okay.
and smash that like button. Tag a friend. Tell everybody. If you see people on the street, smack them on the head. Say, hey, listen, sexy food therapy. Okay? Random people. If you're walking, scream it. That's it. And subscribe.
And what do they do with other people? They share it? Yeah, share it.
With everybody. And I mean anybody. I don't care if you don't know them. You see a dog on the street, you tell him.
Share it out with the world.
Tell everybody. I do.
Aww.
Is it possible that I actually got sexier? This to me is a good look. I think just eyes, because I do have nice eyes, and the rest of it, blank screen. This is how you get them, baby. They can project any look they want on me. Right now, Brad Pitt under here. You can't say I'm lying, can you? Nope. How scared would you be if when you looked up from the operating table, this is what you saw? Most of you don't know me, so probably wouldn't stress you. Those of you who know me, you'd know you were screwed.
All right, it's time to go. Oh, wow, that almost fucking hit my eyeballs.
Do you see? It's not even the virus that we have to worry about. Masks and them themselves.
They kill
They
eyeballs!
are taking eyeballs out.
All right, it's time to go on. Did I just like literally start wearing a
So
mask?
do you understand that this is now 5 or 6 takes? And right now I'm just talking shit because I'm bored, because one day Melissa will learn to put on a mask and they wonder why they don't let us in.
Fuck.